As of Thursday's Beyond the Gates, Smitty and Anita now have one more thing in common. They're both furious that their husbands have been lying to them for the past month, and rightfully so. Vernon apologizes for keeping Anita in the dark, assuring her that he thought he had the Kenny situation under control. She's beside herself when Vernon mentions Kenny targeting Tyrell and Samantha, but she's relieved to hear that he never followed through on his threats. Anita's instincts also lead her to accuse Vernon of being behind Kenny's hit, which he denies, admitting that he never should have let Bill and Joey take over the situation. Vernon says he didn't want to burden Anita with all of this, fearing it could derail the Articulates' reunion, but Anita tells him they managed to implode the concert all on their own. Anita and Vernon then worry about how they're going to tell Nicole about all of this, especially when she's already in such a fragile place. Vernon also begins to question whether they made the right decisions 2 years ago. Meanwhile, Smitty is also reeling from the news of Kenny's death, immediately suspecting Martin of being involved, which he completely denies. Smitty presses Martin for more information about Kenny's death, but Martin says he genuinely doesn't know anything, though he does admit that Joey's presence at the press conference seems suspicious. "None of this is okay," Smitty yells, at which point Tyrell and Samantha rush downstairs to find out what's going on. Martin sits his kids down and tells them every detail about that night, including why he and Vernon didn't feel safe reporting the incident to the police. Tyrell and Samantha comprehend the gravity of the situation, but they still don't understand why he kept all of this for so long. "Sometimes protecting people ends up hurting them even more," Smitty says. "You don't have to worry about Kenny anymore," Martin tells them. "He's gone." He doesn't specify that gone means dead, but maybe that's enough for now. Smitty says he needs more time before he's ready to forgive Martin for what he did, and Tyrell agrees, with only Samantha coming to Martin's defense. "You can't punish Dad for being a hero," she tells Smitty. Martin says he's going to work hard to earn back his family's trust, but Smitty says he isn't ready to make any promises right now. "Right now or ever?" Martin asks, to which Smitty shrugs and replies, "I just can't." As Martin tearfully leaves the apartment with his bags, Samantha angrily storms upstairs. Vanessa drops by Nicole's place, where she's legitimately stunned to hear that Nicole and Leslie's latest encounter turned physical. "I came pretty damn close to strangling her," Nicole admits, which is actually an understatement. Vanessa then tells Nicole what happened at the press conference, none of which sits well with her. Why was Bill there when she thought he and Martin were barely on speaking terms? And what's the alleged family emergency that prompted Martin to step away from the podium? Filling in what the news reports have been leaving out, Vanessa tells Nicole that Martin was pulled away after Bill showed him a photo, and that Vernon laid into Bill after the press conference was over. "From what I can see, Martin's in some kind of trouble," Vanessa says, advising Nicole not to wait for an invitation to get involved. Shortly after Martin's emotional departure, Smitty receives a surprise visit from Nicole, who's speechless to hear that Martin isn't staying at home right now. When Nicole asks what Martin was going to reveal at the press conference, Smitty says that's something Martin should tell her himself. Nicole also does her best to console Samantha, promising that she'll be there for her no matter what happens. Smitty's next surprise visit comes from Jacob, who tells him about Malone discovering an unidentified body earlier that day, forcing Smitty to pretend like this is totally new information. Smitty even attempts to steer Jacob away from his theory that Marcel, and maybe even Joey, is involved somehow. Smitty tells Jacob that he can't really focus on the investigation right now because Martin just moved out. "I don't even recognize the man that Martin has become," Smitty admits, adding that it's been especially hard on the kids, who couldn't have seen any of this coming. Upstairs, Tyrell and Samantha remain at odds over the situation. Samantha says they know everything now, so there's no harm, no foul. But Tyrell suspects that their dads are still keeping part of the story from them, and he's right. Meanwhile, Danny is still boozing it up with Bill at the club, where he isn't in the mood for another dressing down. "One Dupree is enough," he says. "I've met my Read for Filth quota." Bill says Vernon cut him to the core back at Orphe Jeans, admitting that a part of him still needs Vernon's approval. Danny says Bill is too cold-blooded to care what anyone else thinks, then suddenly brings up Bill's father. Apparently, Bill's father never gave him the approval he needed growing up, hence Bill gravitating towards Vernon as a surrogate father figure. "He's not just my ex-father-in-law," Bill says. "He's the legendary Vernon Dupree." When Martin shows up on Vernon and Anita's doorstep with fully packed bags, they already know what happened. He says he gave the kids a sanitized version of that fateful night's events, but he told Smitty everything, which is why he kicked him out. "If I would have come home 2 years ago that night and told Smitty what I had done, he wouldn't have gone along with covering it up," Martin says. "He would have stood by me, and he would have insisted that I come forward and face the repercussions." "And he would have been right," Vernon replies, admitting that he was dead wrong to set all of this in motion. Vernon regrets acting out of fear, though Anita says he was right to do so, given that county's history of racist crimes. "I need to make something clear," Vernon tells his grandson. "The situation we're facing tonight is not like the situation back then. It's even more perilous. There is no way that we can come forward now without implicating Joey Armstrong, and he will not hesitate to retaliate." Vernon offers to speak with Smitty about the situation, but Martin says it would be better for them all to give him space for now. Anita assures him that they'll stand by him, and he can stay with them for however long he needs. Just then, a furious Nicole enters with a demand for her lying family. "Someone needs to tell me what the hell is going on here. Hey babes, welcome back to Gossip Delight. It's your girl Daisy, and trust me, today's tea is scorching, steamy, and absolutely unmissable. Buckle up, because we're diving straight into the drama." On Beyond the Gates, Jason Vendries was cast in the critical role of Kenneth, a man from Martin's past, and the key to all secrets. When Jason Vendries was first cast to play the outsider Kenneth, he knew nothing about the storyline or how long he would be on the show. "Even though Kenny wasn't the nicest of characters, I hope the viewers enjoyed what he added to Martin's story," the actor said. Kenny was a pivotal character in Martin's secret. The fact that he appeared in Fairmont Crest and began making direct contact with Martin excited fans that they were closer to finding out what happened on a fateful night 2 years prior. "Even after I was cast, everything was hush-hush, and although I was given the storyline, I was asked to keep it a secret from the rest of the cast and crew," Vendries explained. He laughed that some of his castmates did ask, especially while they were in hair and makeup. One of Vendries' last scenes was with Maurice P. Carey, who plays Joey's henchman, Randy. He said that Carey messaged him the day that it aired, and they were both happy with how it came out. Kenny has definitely been terminated after pushing his luck. Once Martin found him in his home and befriended his children, the other men involved knew that he was a problem that needed to be stopped permanently, but will viewers get to see more of him in flashbacks? "I believe some things will be answered in today's episode," Vendries shared, adding, "After today, as far as I know, unless they use some old footage for flashbacks, Kenny is no longer part of the show." Vendries said that everyone on the show was amazing to work with, although he didn't get to do scenes with all of the cast during his time there. "I mainly worked with Brandon Claiborne, who plays Martin, and spent the most time with him running through lines at the beginning of the day," he added. The actor had a bit of a reunion on set. Maria Howell, Tracy of the Articulettes, and I did a movie years ago called Christmas Wedding Baby, so it was such a trip to see her and catch up. Lauren Buglioli, who plays Vanessa McBride, and I had known of each other through a similar circle of friends, and we share an agent, but we had never formally met, so that was something long overdue. Mike Hugo is the editor on the show. He and I had done a film he edited, and of course, the hair and makeup team were so energetic and welcoming every morning. While Vendries enjoyed his time on Beyond the Gates, he felt that his character got what he deserved. Kenny had what was coming to him. As the actor playing Kenny, of course, I would have had fun expanding upon his story or exploring the depths of what he was capable of. Ultimately, though, he served his purpose, which was to reveal what Martin is capable of and the cover-up that ensued, Vendries explained. He added that he had also worked with the camera team on previous projects. "I felt like there were little reunions from different parts of my career happening throughout my time on the show." As for what's next for the actor, his new film, Pet Investigators, is set to release later this month. Vendrise plays Coach Thompson in Black Spartans, a football movie also starring Neil McDonough, which is scheduled to release soon. Additionally, Season 6 of Ruthless is slated to premiere on BET Plus later this year, where he plays Agent Slumkowski. Next on BTG, Anita lashes out at her daughter. Samantha begs her father. Elon asserts his control in the investigation. The Beyond the Gates What to Watch moments for Friday, July 18, 2025, focus on big family drama. Anita has some choice words for her daughter, while Samantha begs her father to understand her dreams. Meanwhile, Elon is taking control of the investigation. Anita will have some choice words for her daughter. We're wondering who this could be. Does this have to do with Nicole? She is about to be read for filth about the events that happened 2 years ago. Anita will tell Nicole that she needs to accept the consequences. Nicole will break down in tears during their conversation. How will she deal with her mother's tough love? She will have a lot to process. This is just the beginning. Samantha will make an emotional plea to her father. She wants to pursue a career in modeling. However, Martin isn't on board with her dreams. Will he finally come around? Or will this create a rift in their relationship? This isn't the only family drama going on. In fact, it's the theme of Friday's episode. Elon will put Jacob in his place and use his power to assert control over the investigation. The two will have another discussion about complying with the rules. Many nosy reporters and crooked cops have been involved, potentially messing with the investigation. Elon doesn't want Jacob to follow suit. However, Jacob is willing to follow a trail and will do whatever it takes to get the intel he needs. This is a problem for Elon, who wants Jacob to toe the line. Daphne du Plessis, who plays the role of Dr. Nicole Dupree Richardson on the CBS's Beyond the Gates, addressed the crowd at the 116th NAACP convention this week. Read on to find out more. The NAACP hosts its yearly national gathering as a big event for advancing racial equity and empowering African American communities. The conference brings together activists, leaders, and community members to address inequalities while honoring the organization's enduring civil rights legacy. There are workshops, speeches, and networking opportunities. Daphne du Plessis felt very honored to give her speech. She's there to represent BTG, which is causing a stir on TV as people get to see something about the real lives of those wealthy people of color who live in an enclave. It's fictionalized, it seems to be quite authentic. On Wednesday, Daphne du Plessis took to her Instagram account and shared a reel that showed her during her speech. It was, unfortunately, a bit blurry, but it didn't detract from her message. Then she wrote quite a long caption, saying in part, much more followed, and she added that the series represents more than just a show. Cher feels that it has a much broader importance as an initiative focused on opening doors and breaking barriers. She described the production as a platform for celebrating the stories that need to be told. In particular, she noted how working alongside changemakers and visionaries reinforced the importance of their collective mission. The actress concluded by sharing her gratitude for the opportunity to participate in the inspiring community and contribute to what she feels is a meaningful movement. Plenty of people love the show and the real-life Dr. Nicole Dupree Richardson. So, there were lots of opinions and congratulations sent to her. One of them wrote, "This is so amazing, honey. So proud of you and beyond excited for what's to come." Here are a few more reactions. The CBS drama features other inspirational and talented characters. Tamara Tooney, with a long list of credits to her name, addressed the Harlem Stage Organization in July. Her speech was inspirational as well, and many fans raved about her. Another cast member, Carla Mosley from BTG, didn't give a speech, but in early June, she shared some inspirational thoughts on her social media. Once again, she received a lot of support from daytime drama fans. Wednesday's episode begins at Orphe Jeans, where Bill confirms to Martin that Kenny is dead, alleging that he was killed by police during a robbery gone wrong. Vernon, of course, knows that it was actually a hit. Still sweating bullets, Martin can't believe he was about to expose himself in front of all those reporters. He also finds it suspicious that Bill received the confirmation photo during his press conference, but Bill swears it was all a coincidence, perhaps even divine intervention. Bill says Martin can now live without looking over his shoulder, but it's all too easy for Martin, and he isn't the only person becoming suspicious. The reporters from the press conference are starting to wonder about the so-called Dupree family emergency that pulled Martin from the podium. Martin eventually storms out of the diner, furious that Bill is leaving him in the dark, again. Vernon is also irked by Bill's behavior, calling him a sorry son of A. With Martin gone, Bill and Vernon remain at each other's throats, with Vernon upset that his family members are now accessories to murder. "You need me a whole lot more than I need you," Vernon says, which sets Bill off. He says Vernon's dysfunctional family that is bound to implode again, at which point they'll need Bill's help. But instead of running to their rescue, he'll remember this night and tell the almighty Duprees that they can all go to hell. Vernon says that Bill may have shown his teeth, but they both know who really holds the power in this room. As for Vanessa's accusation that Joey invited her to Orphe Jean's as an alibi, he swears he actually invited her because she's beautiful. She reminds him that she's close with the Duprees, so if they're involved in something, she wants to know about it. Every dirty detail. He tells her to be careful what she asks for. She might not really want to know, but she pushes, so he caves in. "Tonight, we arranged for a very bad man to be disposed of," Joey tells her. When she asks for clarification on the meaning of disposed, he says it means whatever will help her sleep at night. "There are limits to what I will share about my business," Joey tells her. "You like to play like you get turned on by the rush, by getting close to the edge. Honey, that is a dangerous game." Still, he says he'll tell her everything, if she still wants to know. Vanessa then spots Malone, inviting him to join them at their table. "Please, join our little party," she says. "I hear it's been quite the productive evening." Malone is hesitant to say anything, and when Vanessa pushes for answers, Joey shuts her down, loudly. "Enough," he shouts. "This isn't a damn game. If you push this any further, tonight or ever, then our evening won't end with the usual fun on a poker table. There will be a much less happy ending for you." Joey asks Vanessa what other dangerous thoughts she's been entertaining. He asks if she can take direction, especially when it counts. He says it's good to know that she can play nice, and their uncomfortable encounter ends with an equally uncomfortable kiss. Meanwhile, Smitty, Tyrell, and Samantha are playing the waiting game at home, where Smitty is surprised to hear from a fellow reporter that Martin called a press conference at Orphe Jean's. Martin does eventually come home, and he panics the moment he sees the bags Smitty packed for him. Smitty reads his husband the riot act, with Samantha and Tyrell attempting to reel him in at every opportunity. Martin asks to speak with Smitty privately, promising no more secrets, no more hiding, and the kids reluctantly go upstairs. "I don't want your damn apologies," Smitty says. "I don't want your guilt. I want answers." So Martin tells him everything. He and Vernon took a wrong turn on their way home from a political event and got a flat tire. When Martin got out of the car to change it, two racist white men approached them, offering to help. When it became clear that they weren't actually being helpful, a brawl ensued. And when Martin saw one of the men get physical with Vernon, he absolutely lost it. He hit the man over the head with a crowbar, then proceeded to beat him to death. The other guy was unconscious, barely clinging to life. "I killed a man, and I snuffed his life like it was nothing," Martin tells Smitty. And the other, "What I did to his face, I see it in my nightmares. It was awful. And that's why I couldn't tell you." Back to the story. Vernon called Malone, who showed up like he was waiting, with Chief Hawthorne in tow. As for taking care of the witness and the body, that's where Joey got involved. With the reveal of each new detail, Smitty is gobsmacked, as all of the dots from his investigation are finally connecting, though not at all how he expected. Then Martin tells Smitty the rest. Kenny was the surviving witness that night, and Ted was brought in to give him plastic surgery. He was given money to start a new life overseas, and they all thought it was over. He tells Smitty that Kenny has been blackmailing him for weeks, but he didn't recognize him because of his new face. Smitty is furious that Martin kept the blackmailing from him for weeks, but Martin says he needed one of them to stay clean. If things went south, he didn't want Tyrell and Samantha to lose both of their fathers. Martin says that of all the terrible things that have happened, the worst thing he did was not being honest with his husband. Smitty is sorry that Martin suffered, and he understands why Martin didn't tell him right away. But Smitty says he wouldn't have gone along with the cover-up. The initial shock is understandable, but Martin's intentional lies in recent weeks have put them all in danger. And that's why you need to leave, Smitty says. Tonight. As long as Martin is being targeted, it isn't safe to have him at their house. But Martin promises their troubles are over, because Kenny is dead. Vernon goes home to drink away the events of the evening, only to discover that Anita has come back early from Chicago. He tries to throw her off his trail by asking for an update on the reunion, but Anita can tell something is really bothering her husband. "Tell me all of it," Anita says. "No more dancing around. What is you this shaken?" "You know that night from 2 years ago?" he begins. "The night we never talk about?" Anita replies. "Well," Vernon says, "it's all come back. And our grandson, Anita, he's drowning." Bill also seeks out a drink to take the edge off, albeit at the country club. And who should show her face at the very same bar? Why, it's Danny Dupree. "Of all the gin joints in all the world," Bill says, letting her know she's one of the last people he wants to see right now. Danny challenges this, insisting she wasn't responsible for sending to Haley to the hospital, taking another opportunity to suggest that Haley is probably lying about her entire pregnancy. She then asks Bill what has him so upset, because seeing him miserable was always quality entertainment. Not sharing any incriminating details, Bill says that Vernon just chewed him out without pulling a single punch. "Did you have it coming?" she asks, which gets a good laugh out of Bill. In fact, there are a lot of laughs happening in this little catch-up between exes. Bill assumes his working relationship with Vernon is over, but Danny reminds him that her father always respected him when they were together. "If Daddy went full tilt, it's because he knew you could take it," she says. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.